Hello, my friends. Come in, come in. Sit down, take a breath. My name is Miss Carol. I am a former career teacher who is here now sharing everything that I've learned from 15 years of intentionally growing and learning, becoming the best version of myself, showing myself compassion, and today's topic, which is radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. And, acceptance is a tricky thing. It can be a tricky thing because often we feel like if we are accepting or if we are surrendering, it's almost like it feels like we're giving up in some aspect. We have all become so associated with control because we can curate our entire life. We can curate the food we eat. We can curate the music we listen to. We can curate whether or not we go outside for any of these things. I remember I lived in China for almost 10 months. And in February, I will never forget that it had been a pretty cold winter and it was still cold. I remember going to the grocery store and seeing strawberries, and it made me so happy because strawberries are a seasonal fruit. So when I was there, they weren't available year round like they are here. And you really do appreciate those things when you don't have access to them all the time. But, here we are so unlimited in our choices of not just food we can eat, but pretty much people we can date, books we can read. I mean, our lives are just filled with so much complexity of choice that it almost cripples us in some regard. But what are you going to ground yourself in? What are you going to ground yourself in to where all of these stimulus that come at us that we are bombarded with, we can ground ourselves in something that is stable, consistent, and part of that is acceptance, radical acceptance for what is, because we live in a capitalistic society, and I wanted to put in my description that my channel is focused on practical self-love tools that are non-capitalistic because just like everything in this country, we have turned self-care and self-love and spirituality into a business. It is a commodified business now. And there is nothing wrong with capitalism whatsoever. But everything needs checks and balances. Everything needs an equal and opposite endeavor in order to, in order to make it feel like it's not swayed on one side. Because, I'll come back to the analogy of food. If you ate McDonald's or ice cream for one morning, you probably be fine. I can't eat ice cream because I can't have dairy, but if you were to eat ice cream every morning for a month, there would probably be some issues. It's all about living in balance, and more we have to create that balance within ourselves, within our own life, because we live in such an excess of external. Everything is just in excess that we have to be that much more practiced internally on those things that are going to keep us at an equilibrium, at a balanced state. I lived in Vegas for a number of years in my early 20s, and it even though it was fun, I would never begrudge the city of Las Vegas because it does have some really great things that you can do. Not just going to the casino and going out clubbing. I did that too. We did that too. But most of the time, when the weather was nice or when it was bearable, actually, there's a lot of outdoors things to do too. You can go hiking, biking, There's some really wonderful lakes and not geysers, but what are the hot springs around Nevada. You can go to Colorado, which isn't too far off. I mean, there are a lot of things to do in that area if you don't really necessarily enjoy the whole like nightlife experience. But I said that to say that Vegas made it very clear to me that it was a clear demonstration of everything that was in excess. You could drink at all nights, at all hours of the day. You could gamble all hours of the day. You know, it was very common for my friend group, oh, you got a DUI, you got another DUI, or oh, you know, these things that were just in excess. And then you would walk down the strip and you would see things that were literally not real. So it became very easy for me to differentiate the things that were real from the things that were not real. And when we are attempting to accept ourselves, accept our world, accept life, radically accept life, it's important that we have external demonstrations of that, which is why taking walks is so important. Because if you are only hearing one narrative in terms of what the world is and what the world looks like, it is going to cripple you. You are going to be subjected to a barrage of negative images and news. But if you just simply go outside for a walk and just observe everything that you see, the birds, the trees, the flowers, other people, you know, the clouds, everything that you see, you can clearly delineate between the narrative that one might be giving you as opposed to the reality in which you are experiencing the abundance of, you know, our world and the beauty of it, because it is actually absolutely beautiful. So, you know, we live in this capitalistic society, and a part of that, one of the foundations of keeping this kind of society working is that we have to teach and drill into our consumers that you are not enough. You are not enough. You are not enough. Because if you are constantly teaching and attempting to convey to someone that they are not enough, what are they going to do? They're going to try to consume more. They need to consume that next thing. They need to have that next product. They need to have that next, you know, fashion trend, or that next, you know, whatever they see modeled for them. And this goes directly against who we are internally, what we have internally, what's already available to us. You know, we are always, everything on our external world will always be a reflection of how we feel on our internal world. And again, this is not a, you know, let's burn everything down to the ground. Let's down with capitalism narrative. No, that's not it at all. I love this country. I am a first generation immigrant. My grandparents came to this country from South America, where they are from. And I'm very proud of that. That was a very courageous thing to do at that time. And it makes me very proud to be an American. It makes me very proud to grow up where I grew up. So both things can be true at the same time. That's a part of being an adult, that you can have two quote unquote opposite thoughts or feelings, and neither one has to be true or false. They can both live in the same sphere of reality at the same time. You know, when I was, for a long time actually, I did not accept my smile. I was so embarrassed of my smile because my teeth are so little. I actually had a boyfriend years ago who used to call me Little Tooth, and he meant it in an endearing way. He wasn't trying to make fun of me, but you know, I can clearly remember taking those pictures that you take in school, and I would like close my mouth so tight and not try to show my teeth. And I don't know what happened. Somewhere along the way, it just really kind of struck me. I was just like, you know what? This is what you have. These are the teeth that you have. So this is the smile that you have. Is it a gummy smile? Yes, but it's yours. There are 8 billion people on this earth, and no other person has the exact same smile as you. So why not be proud of that? Why not show it? Because when I demonstrate that I am comfortable with showing my smile, even though, given the opportunity, I definitely would make some changes. I am demonstrating to others that whatever you feel insecure about, it's okay too. We all have insecurities. There is nobody on this planet, unless you're a complete sociopath and psychopath, which there are those out there too. We all have insecurities. We all have things that we feel like we could be better and do better and all of those things. But it's not about perfectionism. That is the rub. The imperfection is the perfection in itself. That is how I choose. That's how I define self-esteem. Self-esteem is knowing that you have flaws, acknowledging your mistakes, knowing that you're going to get things wrong, but having the audacity to love yourself anyway and accept yourself anyway. That is true self-esteem. When you know that, I fucked up right there. I made that mistake. I could have done that better. But you know what? I still get to be me. There's nobody else I was born to be but me. So why not get to it? That is real self-esteem right there. But again, all of these things are a practice. All of them take demonstration in front of us, which is why I am so feeling these things urgently, because we are in a state of mental, emotional, conscious unclarity. And I am here to be a demonstration for as many people and the right type of people as possible, that don't be discouraged in thinking that you need a pilgrimage to Tibet or any kind of thing other than stepping outside your front door and just looking around to unearth all of these gifts that you are naturally endowed with. They are natural. They will never go away. And the thing is, and I have fortunately been around some pretty wealthy people. And you can always tell the wealthy people who are consuming all of these things to try to fill something that is empty on the inside, when the irony is that can never be filled. That is something that is innate within us, and it's a feeling, and you have to, and it's either authentic or it's not. And since we are vibrational creatures, we will be able to energetically tell if it's authentic or if it is not. But it is a practice. This is about whether you choose to give your power away. When you choose to focus on one particular thing, your focus is your power, your mind. Don't underestimate the power of your mind. There are so many things to keep us distracted right now, so many distractions, and that is on purpose. That is definitely on purpose. That is a business strategy. Don't get it twisted. I worked in retail for many years. I know the game, okay? And that's okay. You can choose to be focused on whatever you want to be focused on. But is that bringing about better relationships in your life? Because ultimately, the healing and the growth that you are experiencing is not for you. It's so you can have more meaningful connections. We are a collective society. We are here together. So by me doing the work and showing up for myself and radically embracing my imperfections, I am thereby prepared when I am out in the world to be a demonstration for that. And I can reach my hand out to someone and say, can I give you a hand? Do you need help with that? How can I assist you? We are here to serve. We are here to heal, and to serve, and to be demonstrations of that. That is our ultimate purpose. We are our ultimate purpose is to be that of service. And I'm so grateful that I had so many years, especially in my early years, that I worked in the service industry, because it laid such a foundation of, yes, this is why we are here. We are here to serve one another. And hopefully you can find the acceptance in that and find the joy in that. Joy is another one of these words that is overused, and people honestly have become cynical about it. But it's unfortunate because joy, honestly, is our natural state. We can have a myriad of emotions, but joy is the underlying unconsciousness in which we choose to live from. Either we live from joy or we live from fear. It's kind of like I heard an analogy. I can't remember where I heard it from, but it's like you have the sky and then you have the clouds. Joy is the sky. You're always going to have your emotions, which are the clouds, which are always moving and always shifting. But the overarching experience is that of joy. Hopefully, if you are practicing that, if you have learned and are learning to accept yourself and accept your world around you. I had a teacher conference meeting my first year as a teacher, and I'll never forget this. I was very green. It was my first year teaching, and it was just a general meeting. The student wasn't bad. It was just, we were having a general meeting between parents. And I don't remember what the context of the conversation was or how it came about, but I said to the parent, kids are like dogs. They need to be trained. And I meant it in such a real, like layman's terms kind of way. But thinking back on it in hindsight, that was probably not the best thing to say, to compare somebody's child to a dog. But I stand on that. If we were more like dogs, we would be a lot happier. Dogs are very, in the moment. They are present. I am much more of a cat person because that's just my character makeup. That's my character profile. But dogs are very much like, oh, we're going to eat now. Oh, we're going to sleep now. Oh, we're going to play now. They're there. They're just there for you. They're always expressing that joy, that fervor for life. We could learn a lot from dogs, which is why a lot of us feel more attached to our animals than we do to each other, because dogs don't talk and they don't come with an agenda. We can just pour our love into them. Unfortunately, there are people out there who abuse animals, and they are the worst type of person. But we can just pour our love into them, and they just give. They just give. They don't know how to do anything else but just give us love. We have a lot to learn from them. The last thing that I'll say is you cannot expect to have a happy ending on an unhappy journey. Those things are incongruent. Because what is life? Life is the journey. We are all going towards the same destination. There is only one alternative, and I don't think anybody is rushing towards that. Not consciously, anyway. So finding radical acceptance, practicing the forgiveness of your imperfections is a great spiritual practice to keep you grounded when there's so much chaos all around you. I will link a free resource in my description. Please send me an email or a message. I will gladly reach out to you if you are interested in working with me one-on-one. Check out this next video. I am proud of the work that you are doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up, and I'll see you next time.